Alright, David Harry here. Now so far I've done about 12 videos to do with the Hero 9. I think maybe I've uploaded about 6 of them, something like that. But weirdly, one of the very first ones that I'd done I hadn't finished, which is this one. So this one is actually probably the first or the second video that I've done with the 9. And this is my first vlog with the Hero 9. So what this is, it is the Hero 9 as out of the box as possible. And I think really the only things that have changed here are the frame rate and the resolution. That's about it really. But for all the settings to do with the way it's set up, you can get all that in the descriptions below. But it is effectively as out of the box as possible. So importantly, that is GoPro Color and using the internal microphones. Now, as far as audio is concerned, what I've done in this video is to just use exactly what come out of the camera. So that's basically both of its microphones, and I've just raised up the level for the entire video just so it goes to about 0, just to get it raised up a bit. But that doesn't involve limiting, compression or EQ or anything like that. So what you're going to hear is exactly how the microphones sound, exactly that, without any manipulation whatsoever. So don't forget, GoPro Color, microphones as is. Anyway, here's the video and I'll do a bit of a summary at the end. Okay, so to start this first vlog off then, I'm just gonna walk by the busy main road here. And this is just to see, because obviously I'm on the internal microphone or microphones here. I've still got to work this one out because of the little thing on the top. Anyway, so because I'm on the internal mic system, it's just going to be good to do an initial test here right by the road. Now, I'm not going to get all bent out of shape if this isn't the best thing ever, because, you know, one, we're kind of used to what these are realistically like inside the GoPros, and two as well, right now I am by a busy main road, so again, you know, I'm going to have to bear all that in mind. Now just give us a sec while I just cross the road here. Okay, so I'm across the road, and as you can see here now by the traffic behind me, it is very busy. So this is going to give you a clear indication of exactly what this microphone system is going to be like. Trying to pick up a voice when there is a lot of noise here. Now I've got to be honest, this is not where you would want to go vlogging with all this competing noise here. But I'm trying to do a test just to see where we can push and pull this system and what have you. So once again, busy main road. Now I'm going to get into the park. Okay, so I'm away from that busy road now, just heading off into the park. And just that, one of the boring thing that I quite often say, if you're vlogging and you're going by any roads whatsoever, regardless of how busy you think the traffic is and stuff like that, just stop vlogging when you're crossing the road. And the reason for that is just quite simply, you are not concentrating. If you're trying to look at a camera and concentrating on what you're talking about and all that stuff, crossing the road, you're definitely not looking for the traffic. And as well as wiping yourself out there, you know, you could quite possibly impact somebody else's life for the rest of their lives. Okay, so now that Downer Dave has done his thing, what I'm going to do now is just go through this bridle path area where I normally go for doing some of me testing and what have you. Now the thing to bear in mind here as well, for the best part, this is all shaded, so these auto functions here are gonna have to be doing, you know, a fair bit of like gaining up for exposure and such. Obviously when I hit like bits of kind of bright areas where the sun gets through the trees, it'll be able to probably expose a bit better. But maybe right now where I'm going is a bit darker, so it's gonna have to start gaining up and such. Okay, so that's going to give us an idea of what it's like just in this little stretch here. Now let me get somewhere else. All right, so one of the top fields in the park here. Now what it is, the sun is just starting to go down. It's not that it's dark, it's just that it's now kind of lowish on the horizon. So what we're getting here is I am actually in shadow because of all the trees in the park, but I'm not, like, you know, drenched in shadow, should we say, as opposed to drenched in light. So it is bright here, you know, it's not dark. But what I'm going to try and do is see if I can try and catch another field where the trees are not so high, which will be blocking the sun. But like I say, right now it is not like dark or anything. I am just in a shaded area, but it is well lit anyway. So once again, just to give us an idea of what it's going to be doing with exposure and such. Another thing to note here, or maybe it's a mental note for myself, what happened when I first hit record, I was on 48% on the battery. So I'll try and keep an eye on my usage just to see
where I'm getting up to by the end of, like, you know, the shooting that I'm doing here. And I'll be able to kind of roughly tell with what I've got in the timeline as well as to how much stuff I've actually shot, so I can kind of get a bit of a gauge for the battery as well. Now the thing is, it was on 48% because I was just far too eager to get out. And yeah, I hadn't charged it up fully because I was doing something earlier on and I had to do the upgrade for it, the update for the software, the firmware. So with that, I had to put a bit of juice in, and I was literally just about put enough juice in it so that I could do the update, hence why it's 48% when I've come out. Actually, a very quick dark test here. Where I'm going now, it really is seriously dark with the tree cover. So let's just see what's going to go on here. I mean, this really is not the type of light or, you know, conditions where you would want to put any camera, let alone a small censored camera. And I'm not kind of like deliberately doing, you know, a kind of like sensitivity thing here for the sensor. In fact, where I am here right now is probably like the darkest area amongst these trees and stuff. Like I say, I'm not trying to do a sensor test or nothing right now. I'm just giving quick flavors of stuff. A lot of whatever I do in this video is gonna kind of give me ideas to focus upon when I do other subsequent videos. In fact, there's a darker bit here. Hold on. Right, this is very dark right now. I'm under so much tree cover, it is nuts. So yeah, I think this is just going to be gaining up madly. It's probably going to be dead noisy and stuff, but to be honest, I don't care and I don't mind, because one, this is not the environment for a camera like this as far as exposure for lighting and stuff and all that thing is concerned. But two, again, I am just pushing it as far as I can on my first go to give me ideas of other stuff to do. Now let me see if I can find a brighter space to film in. Okay, so the tiniest of slithers of light creeping through some of the foliage and trees up there. So what it is right now, I'm directly facing into the sun, but just to the side of me there and just to the side of me there, there's no sun directly there. So I'm just going to stand here for a little bit just to give ourselves an idea once again of how far it can be like pushed and pulled, as it were, as far as its automation is concerned for the exposure. Because don't forget, you know, like I always say, for doing vlogging stuff, you've fairly much got to rely on a lot of automatic for like exposure and everything. And even if you're on a camera that can actually focus, you're probably best leaving that on auto as well. Anyway, I think, do I have to go this way a bit maybe? What it is, because the way the sun's moving, this little slither of light, and I think, can we see the light on the floor there behind me? It's just moving a bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is maybe, I know, I'm going to sit down somewhere and switch off the stabilization, and then let me see what it's like with no stabilizer on. Actually, before I do the sit down bit in a second, what it is, I've put it into the boosted stabilization. Oh, a bit of light. Right, I've put it into the boosted stabilization. What it was, I'd left the boost on for the first two takes of things. So when it was by the road and when I stood on the corner with all the traffic, I think it may have been boosted then. But for everything after that, up to this point so far, it's just been standard stabilization. So I'm just going to test boosted quickly now. Again, just a bit of a flavor, nothing else. And then I'm going to go and sit down, switch it all off. And then let's just see if there's any advantage to do with like absolute sharpness and focus and stuff like that. And the reason why is because obviously this one is going up in 5K. Okay, so I've actually managed to find some more light here. So what I'm going to do is try and stay as still as I can with the stabilizer off, just so we can get an idea of what it is like without stabilization, but with sun, a lot of it. And again, it's going to be doing all of its own auto stuff, but this time, is it going to get any assistance in any way whatsoever because there is no stabilizer on? Because don't forget, once the stabilizer's on, you know, the actual camera's working much harder to do stuff. I don't know, is it going to start blaring some of the pixels? You know, I'm not quite sure of what these things are going to be doing on this until I kind of do a bit more research and look into it a bit further with some more testing. But obviously I have to do tests and do takes in order just to see if I can see if there's any initial things about the stuff that I can, you know, observe as soon as I do them. Now let me just shake the camera a little bit. So that's just to show us that there is no stabilizer switched on. Now let me just go and sit down, hopefully out of direct sunlight. Okay, so what it is, I'm now sitting down outside of direct sunlight. Once again, stabilizer switched off. And again, just to kind of reiterate the point here, the reason for this is just to see if we gain anything without the stabilizer. Because of course, you might be going out with a tripod, or maybe, I don't know, a gimbal even, and you might want to switch off the stabilizer because of that. So if there is anything to be gained from not having the stabilizer on, hopefully this is going to show us that. And once again, there's a bit of shaking there just to show that it's definitely got the stabilizer switched off. Now what I'm going to do is shoot off indoors, have a look at the footage, edit it up, and then I'll do an end summary. If there's anything to do on the way back, I'll try that as well.
Okay, so to an end summary then, and I will keep this short and sweet. GoPro Color, what a fucking mess. Anyways, I'm David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.